How do I follow Blair and Billy Joel? Good evening. On behalf of the class, of Sacred Heart class of 2022, I would like to thank our family members, friends, faculty and staff, the board of directors, alumni, and our esteemed speaker, Lauren Bird. It is my honor to stand before you all tonight as we celebrate the class of 2022 and give you an inside look into our journey from freshman fun day, as we nervously wondered what the next 4 years would bring, to tonight, as we walk across this stage as Shea graduates and begin the next chapter of our lives with a new set of fears and worries. The difference is, now these fears are accompanied by the knowledge and self-confidence we've gained during our time at Sacred Heart. For many of us, freshman year seems like a different lifetime altogether. This was the year we were introduced to many of the Shea traditions that we would be taking part in for the next 4 years. While this year was filled with bittersweet laughs, freshman year was a year of firsts. Our first walkathon, school-wide mass, Wiggle-O, which we have proudly mastered at this point, our first time singing the school song, which I cannot say we've mastered yet, our first experience with the chaos that is a Sacred Heart bake sale, our first Christmas dance, Day of Sharing, Spirit Week, and our first time making the mistake of calling PE gym class. In case you didn't know, we take physical education class in the gymnasium. The first of many of Bella Samato's Quizlets was sent out, setting an example of how my classmates would always be ready to help with last-minute cramming for a test or quiz. Soon these firsts became normal occurrences that we now can't imagine time without. Sophomore year comes in 2 distinct categories: pre-COVID and COVID quarantine. In October, we were lucky enough to be able to go on an overnight retreat to Camp Stella Maris, where we ziplined, were guided through the woods blindfolded by friends, discovered our love of Gaga Ball, and watched Camp Rock as a class. This was a transformative retreat for our class, and one that brought us together like nothing else had thus far. We were able to experience time in nature with our classmates without the distraction of our phones or schoolwork. We were completely disconnected from the rest of the world, yet more connected than ever with each other. Sophomore year was also the year we showed the upperclassmen just how much spirit we have. We practiced our Spirit Week dance for hours, and to this day, that dance lives on in our hearts as a moment of immense pride and victory, because in our eyes, we won that karaoke dance competition. Soon, all of our high school drama and worries seemed meaningless, as we were told on that fateful Friday the 13th in March 2020 that we may not be coming back to school for a couple of weeks. What we thought of as a much-needed vacation soon turned into an isolating 5 months before we would be able to be in the Shea building together again. We didn't realize until then just how much we took coming to school every day and seeing our friends' smiling faces for granted. I think we can all agree that the period from March to the end of May that year seems like a warped version of reality. Although this was a time when we were not able to connect in the ways we were used to, we somehow still managed to stay connected in other ways. Birthday drop-offs, long walks, baking, and learning how to cut hair from YouTube tutorials became our version of reality. School over Zoom came with the struggles of poor internet connection, asynchronous days, fun camera backgrounds, discussion board assignments, being stuck in the waiting room, and that one time everyone randomly got kicked off of Zoom during Dr. Virginia's Latin class. What a weird coincidence. But in all seriousness, it truly is a great accomplishment for us to have made it through these last couple years, pushing through the schoolwork, juggling between in-person and online learning, and adjusting to the new school protocols. On behalf of myself and my classmates, I would like to thank Ms. Demmert and the rest of the administration for doing everything they could to keep us in school these last 2 years. The connection of in-person learning is something we will never take for granted again. I would also like to specially thank the outstanding teachers who have been with us every step of the way, cheering us on and figuring out how to work Zoom just as we did. Their hard work, dedication to our education, and all the extra hours they spent making sure we didn't fall behind is the reason we were able to continue to succeed academically. I cannot put into words how grateful we are for our Shea teachers. Next came junior year. The year most of us survived solely because of the never-ending supply of caffeine we were providing our bodies with in the form of iced coffee. It's safe to say that our class alone would have provided enough business needed to keep any Starbucks, Dunkin', or Tim's open and running. This was also the year many of us took our driver's tests, some of us more times than others. Olivia Rodrigo's song, Driver's License, came out just as we were getting our own licenses, providing the perfect song to belt in the car on our way to get coffee. Junior year is tough under normal circumstances, with SATs, ACTs, and the realization that it's no longer too early to worry about college or the future. Now try adding a global pandemic, masks, social distancing, quarantines after contact tracing, and COVID testing. To say it was rough is an understatement. But being able to be with our classmates in the classroom every day was well worth it. We learned to look at what we could do instead of what we were missing out on, found little ways to make each other laugh, and realized the importance of being there for one another. Our sports teams were able to play again and prove that sharks eat gators still holds true. The Shouties found ways to spread spirit throughout the school day and cheer on their friends, even if they couldn't be in the stands or on the bleachers at sporting events. Our theater department proved that the show must go on when they announced we would be making a movie musical version of High School Musical 2. Finally, at the end of the year, we were able to have our night under the stars, as the backyard of our school was transformed into the perfect prom location, with food trucks, 2 dance floors, lawn games, and a photo booth. The beautiful lights hanging on the trees and throughout the yard lit the dance floor for us as we were truly dancing in the moonlight. It was a perfect end to a challenging year and gave us hope for what senior year might bring. Finally, we made it to senior year. I never understood what people meant when they talked about the feeling of being a senior. Now I get it. Every moment is a last. I think it was clear when this reality began to sink in for us. The tears began to flow, more than usual, and the seniors began to get more and more wild as the year went on. Before these end-of-the-year feelings began to sink in, there were the long months between September and January, when the only topic of every conversation seemed to be college. Any free time during the day was spent frantically writing college essays, filling out applications. Then came the dreaded period of waiting for decisions to come out, followed by the celebrations and congratulations when we found out where we had been accepted. We were there for each other during every step of the way, and once again I was blown away by the support my classmates showed each other as we all figured out what we were going to be doing for the next 4 years. As we counted down the months, then the weeks, and finally the days until we were done with classes, there were those who were hit hard with senioritis, those who took on the typical invincible senior role, convinced they were immune to any form of punishment, and those who were in denial that their last days of high school was drawing to a close. I would put myself in that last category. However, Mr. Ayers' 6th period Gov class was a great example of extreme senioritis, and my 9th period free in the senior lounge was either filled with more seniors than just those who had free, as music was regularly blasted through a speaker, or it was oddly almost completely empty on some days. That is until the security guard began to catch on. I think I speak for my entire class when I say that I will forever be grateful for the extraordinary senior year that we have had, filled with memories and friends that will last a lifetime. Over the last 4 years, I've witnessed the transformation of the young women sitting behind me. Each and every one of them has become a leader and has found their voice amid all the noise and chaos that is our world. My class was lucky enough to have had, without a doubt, one of the best student council officers in SHE history and the best senior class officers we could have asked for. These young women managed to give us a special year full of fun senior activities and unique Wednesday assemblies, such as learning Kung Fu in the school's backyard, a beautiful senior sunrise, a movie night out on the back lawn, and a spirit week we will never forget. I think we all knew that Grace would dominate the surprise shark riding competition and win our class the 500 spirit points that we deserved. Just a week ago, we were dancing on Cloud 9 at our senior prom at Salvatore's, where for the last time, we tried to last the entirety of Cotton Eye Joe while in heels on a dance floor not nearly big enough and surrounded by a mass of very sweaty classmates. Our class leaders gave us these moments and so many more, and they did it while having to work around the looming, ever-present COVID-19 virus. Paige, one of our most persistent class officers, was never shy about speaking on the class's behalf via email, whether she was trying to get us a much-deserved snow day or informing Mrs. Rooney that on the morning of our senior prank day, the class officers would encourage the seniors to get to school early to engage in class bonding. I'm not sure that a sleepover with tents on the front lawn was what administration had in mind after reading that email. Our class's persistence and the ability to work together to achieve a common goal can be seen by the infamous snow day email chain, where we voiced our deepest concerns for ours and other drivers' safety if we were made to drive to school the next day in such extreme blizzard conditions. That snow day was indeed a great accomplishment, but in all seriousness, our class leaders not only advocated for us and our class, but for our community as well. After the tragic Buffalo shooting on May 14th, our class leaders took action to do what they could to help our community, organizing a food drive where we collected non-perishable foods and hygiene products which would be donated to the community affected by the shooting. This quick thinking, organization, and participation is a perfect example of how my class comes together and serves our community in times of need. The value of service has clearly been instilled throughout our 4 years here at Sacred Heart, and our growth as individuals can be seen through our willingness to serve others on our own time and encourage others to do the same. As I just recounted all of these memorable moments throughout our 4 years at Sacred Heart, it is important to remember that the most beautiful, most important moments that shaped us and our time together were the little ones. The little moments shared between friends at lunch as we expressed our enthusiasm for the return of hot lunches, playing music in the senior lounge, or piling into a car with friends before school and then running into homeroom as the bell rings, even though you've been in the parking lot since 7:30. There are so many moments like these that have been shared between us throughout the years, and they are different for each of us. But it was these moments that got us through the day. It was these moments that created the indescribable bond between us that only my fellow classmates and alumni can understand. This bond is so much deeper than the Shea sisterhood that is often described to incoming freshmen. It is transformative, and it has given me another family I never knew I needed, and the sisters I never knew I wanted. Now, as the class of 22, there has been no shortage of Taylor Swift songs blasting through the halls or being sung during our Spirit Week dances. And if you know me at all, then you know that at 8 years old, I was begging my parents to buy me a guitar so that I could play our song just like Taylor. When I was thinking about how to put into words a final message to my fellow classmates, one Taylor Swift song came to mind. And since she has a way of capturing feelings into the perfect words, I thought I would play a part of that song for you, because obviously I need my guitar. And I ask that my classmates please join in if they know the words. Long live the walls we crashed through, how the kingdom light shine just for me and you. I was screaming, long live all the magic we made, and bring on all the pretenders, I'm not afraid. Singing, long live all the mountains we moved. I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you. And long, long live that look on your face, and bring on all the pretenders. One day we will be remembered. Long live the class of 2022. Each and every one of you has left your mark on our Sacred Heart community, and I know that we will be remembered in more ways than one. So to the beautiful women sitting behind me, who I've had the privilege to share the halls with these last 4 years, class of 2022, I've had the time of my life with you. Congratulations.